Will.
For Professor Gagné, what is the relative importance of competition policy and investment policy in promoting a pro-competitive environment? And on competition policy more specifically, do you have a view, a philosophy of competition policy? Do you support the efficiency tests, for example, over questions of concentration and size of corporations?
Good question.
I'm sure you have a good answer.
Yeah. I think that competition policy in Canada, the problem with competition policy in Canada, le problème avec la...
The problem with managing competition in Canada is as follows. In our report that came out in November on competition, we gave an example that you're all familiar with, no doubt, namely the attempt for air transit to be purchased by Air Canada. The Canadian authorities analysed this proposal and they accepted it and said it's true that there's going to be more market concentration, so there's a risk of having a negative impact on the quality of services and prices offered, but we'll see when the time comes. That's what they said. For the moment, what's important is to have a big air carrier. I'm not saying it's going to be efficient, I'm saying it's going to be big. The European authorities analysed the same deal and they said no, because they said it was going to harm consumers' interests on the North Atlantic market between Canada and Europe. So there you have it. I think that's the answer to your question right there. It's a different philosophy, a different approach. Here we have the impression that the authorities that are responsible for managing competition like to promote the size of companies. And when it comes to the effects on market and Canadian consumers, who cares really?
Philosophy.
My philosophy, that you should promote and competition as much as you can.
Not so much the
You should be obsessed by that.
Okay. Voilà.
Ms. Correa?
Thank you. Of course, we're in favour of competition. That's undeniable. But there needs to be predictability for businesses as well. And we need to have big companies, and we don't have enough of these in Canada in order to compete and even to help the SMEs that gravitate around these larger companies. There's ways in which we can promote competition where we don't necessarily need to have legislation. There's other regulations that exist on competition, and perhaps we need to work further on them. But we're going to participate in the consultation that's currently underway to present these two aspects. So supporting this aim, but looking at the means and make sure that it doesn't have other negative impacts in terms of predictability and competitiveness of our businesses.